Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Ty here, back with another video. Look, this message is for you. If you are struggling and trying to figure out, like where you're wanting to go and the people you're around, I'm just telling you straight up, it's your environment, man. You gotta really change your environment. Stick around to the end of the video because I'm gonna tell you what I had to do for myself in order to continue to grow. If you like this type of content, men's development, self-awareness, motivational, and some lifestyle, this is the channel for you, so subscribe. But I ain't gonna waste too much time, y'all. I just left the gym. I got a good workout in, a nice HIIT workout, and I really had to be real with myself about some things and just about the environment that I was in previously and then even in the one to this day. Because when you really think about it, y'all, if you really want to continue to grow and develop and just see yourself, if you envision yourself in a different area of your life, whether that be physically, whether that be mentally, whether that be emotionally, spiritually, it's really your environment. Now, there's only so much you can control, and I know I talked about that in one of my previous videos, but make sure you watch that video as well. But the thing is, you got to really be real with yourself. If you really want to continue to flourish and continue to grow yourself, you have to put yourself in a different environment. And sometimes, when you sit down and think about things and when you understand and map out and get logical about things, it's your environment. I'm gonna share a quick story about myself. I had to really take some time. It took a loss in my life to really understand the depths of where I was at in my life. I wasn't satisfied, but I was just kind of going day by day, man, and just allowing my mundane life to just go by. And the thing is, man, these days just keep going, man. They don't wait for anybody, unfortunately. It's just one of them things where time's just gonna keep ticking, and we know that. So these days gonna keep stacking. And so I didn't really take heed of that, and I didn't take that serious. And if you really want to just see yourself, man, you got to really value these days. And so I say all that to say, I had to sit back. It took a tragic moment in my life to really sit back and think I'm not where I really want to be. And the environment that I was in was not allowing me to grow, especially the job, for example, was just not letting me grow. I spent countless hours there, put in time, put in effort, and I just wasn't valued. At the end of the day, after I sit back and think about it, I was not valued in the way I should have been, and it sucks and it's unfortunate. So if you're going through some of the same stuff that I went through, at my job, man, I know at the end of the day, not many of us have the will or desire to be CEOs, to be the top dog, to own your own business and stuff like that. But some of these companies and stuff, they just truly don't care about you. And it's all about people at the top making the money, and we're just the worker bees at the bottom. And so I had to really sit back and just be like, man, this company doesn't value me and I gotta go. And so I left jobs. And the thing is, when I got a different job, I was driving an hour to and from work every single day for a good 3 months. And I was willing to make that sacrifice because I was moving to a different area, not only in my life, but just where I was living, you know what I mean? And so I had to just make sacrifices, man. And sometimes we have to make sacrifices. And that's my whole point here, man. If that relationship that you're in with your girl is it's not benefiting you in a way where it's helping you grow to be a better person in different areas of your life, then you might have to just sacrifice that and let that go, man. It's not meant for you, bro. And the thing is, man, it takes us time because a lot of times our emotions are attached to it, and we just don't understand the depths of what this is doing and the negative effects over time, what it's doing, and just some of the things that we're doing. But the thing is, it's the environment, man, the people that you're around, man. There's still people back home who are doing the same stuff, man. You know what I mean? And they doing some of the same stuff. And it's not to say that I'm better than them or that I still don't do some of the same stuff, because we are creatures of habit. But you know what I mean? The thing is, man, I'm like, man, don't you want better for yourself? And yeah, we mess up. Yeah, we tend to go back to some of the stuff sometimes, but if you're truly done with it and you want to be better, you have to give some of that stuff up. And some things we're just not going to give up, and that's just a part of our just nature. So the thing is, man, some of them guys, man, we're just doing some of the same stuff, getting just like same fights and stuff at the bars, and just really doing just stupid stuff. Like, bro, we're not in high school anymore. We're not kids anymore. We are grown ass men. We got to understand that there's more to this. There's more to this than just what's on the surface. What I'm saying? There's a deeper meaning behind some of this stuff, man. And so, to anybody who's like feels like they're stuck, man, look at your environment, man. Look at the people you're hanging around with. It could be your family, and that's tough, right? It could be your family, man. It could be somebody somebody that says some slick shots to you every single once in a while, and it's like, are you really for me or are you against me, man? Because if you're against me, then you're not gonna say some of this stuff. You're not gonna act in that regard. You're not gonna, you're not gonna do certain things. Like, you're gonna uplift me. You're gonna encourage me. Yeah, I want you to keep it real with me, but you got to tell me. So, think about your environment. Think about the people that you're with, and understand, man, like, sometimes you just got to cut them off. Just cut them off. Like, it sucks, man, but you got to cut them off. And let me get rolling here. We're going to get rolling here. Got to get back to the crib, and we got to get rolling. And so the thing is, man, like, when you start thinking about some of that stuff, like, you got to understand, man, like, your people around you is maybe not your best bet. Like, some of the jobs, the area that you live in, it might be the job market, and the thing is, man, like, some people are scared of your potential, man. And you got to understand, bro, like, if you feel like you've outgrown a place and you are just beyond, it's not to say that you are better than that person or that place or those things, but you got to really look at yourself and look at where you're going and be like, does this align with what I want? Does this align with where I'm going? Does this make sense for me in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years? You know what I mean? Like, you got to really think about those things, man. It could be, like I said, it could be your environment, man. People hating on you that you don't even know, man. Your environment, your whole environment, man. And when you really think about that, it's going to help you grow. Because I know for me, when I made that big change, and when I sat back and was like, dang, I thought my life would be somewhere else. I didn't know really where it would be, but I had to start taking control, man. And I was just living lackadaisical, man. And and sometimes when you've done that for so long, and you just kind of just like go with the flow and just like live lackadaisical, you're gonna end up places where you don't want to be. And it's not to say that's where I'm at now, but I could see some of the effects that it's had on me, and that's a whole different topic. But the thing is, man, I still had to change my environment, and it allowed me to grow. So if that's something that you want to do, and that's something that you want to, consider, I really highly encourage you to do so, because I've done it. And if that's something that you want to talk about too, definitely leave a comment down below, shoot me an email. We can kind of get on a call too, and I can just kind of help you, because I went through it, moved to a whole nother area, and like, what I'm saying, like a whole different type of vibe of people, man. Sometimes it's just a vibe, man. It's just a vibe, the energy, the interactions, what I'm saying, the mindset. That was the biggest thing that really, it was the mindset. The people where I was at, man, the mindset. It was their mindset. I'm like, yo, like, how are you not seeing this? How are you stuck in this mindset? Like, what's gonna make it change for you? How do you not see this? And sometimes you can't make people see the vision, but it's their mindset. They don't want to see the vision. Some people just don't want to see the vision, and that's okay. But change your environment, man. And so, anybody who's looking for a word today, come back to this video, and because like I said, and I can get deeper too. I know I didn't get too deep into my situation, but I'm telling you, man, I had to get out of the relationship. I had to get out of that job. I had to get out of that place, that city I was in, because it just wasn't good for me, man. It didn't allow me to grow, and it pushed me and forced me to grow. When I did decide to make that change and decided to just keep pushing forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. This type of content, just raw, unedited, is my thing. I like it. And eventually we're going to keep pushing this thing, and I'm going to keep pushing out the message. And I hope somebody is utilizes this message to keep pushing forward and keep wanting to do better in life. So This is Ty here. I hope you subscribe and join the family. And I'm gonna keep pushing out this content for y'all. And y'all stay sharp, live dangerous, and stay sharp. Ty, I'm out. Peace.